Alright guys, we're back here for another episode of Pauper Ponderings. My name is Austin, and as always, we got a super spicy deck for you this week. We are playing red-green Impact Tremors. So what we are doing is trying to best utilize the card, Impact Tremors. So it's 1 in red for an enchantment, and whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, it deals 1 damage to each opponent. So, how do we best leverage that card? Well, we play a bunch of cards that make a bunch of creatures. So in the 2-drop slot, we have the card Nest Invader. This is 1 in a green for a 2/2. When he enters the battlefield, you make an 0/1 colorless Eldrazi spawn. Pretty straightforward. We have his big brother, Kozilek's Predator. 3 in a green for a 3/3. And when he enters the battlefield, you make 2 0/1s. So just a little bit bigger than Nest Invader there. And then finally, we have the weird uncle, Emrakul's Hatcher. It's 4 in red for a 3/3, and he makes 3 0/1s. So they kind of work together to really maximize your Impact Tremors. They also come along with the card Brood Birthing, which is 1 in a red. Make 3 Eldrazi spawns if you have an Eldrazi spawn. If you don't have any Eldrazi spawns, you make 1 Eldrazi spawn. So a pretty interesting card. This is definitely a card that has a pretty high ceiling, but a very, very low floor. If you cast this thing into nothing, it's just 2 mana for an 0/1 that sacks to make a mana. Not a very good rate. So this is a card that we're definitely going to have to set up a little bit. Hopefully with a card like Spawning Breath, which is 1 in a red. Deal 1 damage to our creature or player, and then you make an 0/1 spawn. So this is quite powerful against a lot of decks in the format. Like Mono Green Stompy, you're able to kill cards like Korean Ranger. You can kill Delver of Secrets. You can kill Spellstutter Sprite. You can kill Fairy Miscreant. So this does have a lot of targets in the deck, and it is important in getting your Brood Birthings and your everything kind of just running smoothly. Now, we're also playing Hissing Iguanar. This is kind of a nice counter to Impact Tremors, in that it's going to deal them damage whenever a creature dies. But the best part is it actually triggers on your opponent's creatures as well. So, getting into combat with this deck is actually quite good if you have a Hissing Iguanar in play, because you're able to get in for those extra few points of damage that a deck like this is going to need. Speaking of extra damage, we're playing 4 copies of Rancor. I was considering possibly changing this to Bone Splitter, but just after playing with the card, giving the creatures trample is very, very important. And you're able to just leverage those couple points of damage so much better in this deck because you have things like Impact Tremors and Hissing Iguanar. Finally, we have Faithless Looting and Bequeathal. These are 2 cards that are going to keep our cards flowing because we have a lot of fluff, we have a lot of Brood Birthing, Spawning Breath type nonsense. We really need to find Impact Tremors and Hissing Iguanar to make this deck work as best as possible. So being able to filter through our deck with Faithless Looting and Bequeathal is very, very important. Mana base is pretty straightforward. 4 Rugged Highlands, 2 Gruul Turfs, a Holdout Settlement because we blink so many creatures, and then 6 mountains, 4 forests. You know, good old Innistrad. Can't go wrong. Purple Forest, nice big rock mountain. I like to call it the Hell Vault, but, you know, who am I? So I think this deck is quite powerful. I think this is probably the best deck we've played here in Season 2. You know, no disrespect to the other decks. I just think this deck will have the best ability to go 2/1. Black Metal did go 2/1, so I'm hoping for a 2/1 this week. Moving on to the sideboard, we have 2 Electrickeries because we're playing a red deck, 4 Pyroblast because we're playing a red deck, 4 Ancient Grudge because we're playing a red-green deck. Then a Relic of Progenitus because we need a way to stop Gurmag Anglers and stuff. And then we're also playing 4 Magnifies. This is a card that's going to give all our creatures +1/+1. So, in a world where we're trying to be, you know, they maybe have enchantment removal or a lot of creature removal for a Hissing Iguanar, we can board in the Magnifies as kind of a pseudo-anthem for all of our spawn tokens. So I actually think this deck is quite powerful. I'm pretty excited to see where it can go here. And, yeah, now, if you haven't already noticed, I'm actually inside of a nausea somewhere here. So this is kind of a new thing that I thought up this week, and I'm going to be putting myself into the card that most wrecked me the week before. So if you remember last week, we were playing some Mono Green Convoke, and we got absolutely destroyed by Nausea against Mono Black. Well, this week, I figured I'd bite the bullet, and we're going to put ourselves in a Nausea. So hopefully I don't cause you to become nauseous, but we're going to pay a little bit of a respect to the card that really beat us the hardest. Next week, we're going to be doing it with whatever card, you know, manages to get us. Hopefully we just don't get got, and maybe we'll have to carry the nausea over. But I have a feeling something's going to beat us, and that's what we're going to put up in, or that's what I'm going to put myself in next week. Also, If you haven't already filled out the poll from last week, it's the poll to see which format I'm going to play next week. Next week, I will not be playing Pauper. I will be playing either Vintage, Modern, or Legacy. So if you head over to the Manabase, www.themanabase.com, and check out last week's video entitled Monograin Convoke, there's a poll at the bottom. If you want to take that poll, Modern is currently winning. If you'd like to see me bumble my way through Legacy or Vintage, make sure you go vote. Or if you want to see me play some ridiculous Modern deck, go vote for Modern. It is currently winning, I think, as of recording this. But there's also going to be a poll on this article. So if you're watching this exclusively on YouTube, if you want, make sure you go over to our website, www.themanabase.com. Go to the bottom of this article. There's going to be a poll, and that poll is going to be for the deck I'm going to play in 2 weeks. Now, normally I just pick a sweet deck. Well, in 2 weeks, I actually decided to go back, pick 3 of the most popular decks I've ever played, and we're going to put them to a poll. So it's going to be Pauper Ponderings Flashback. The 3 deck choices are Mono or Goblin Storm. So if you don't remember that deck, it was, Brightstone Ritual, Battle Hymn, into making a bunch of goblins with all sorts of token-making effects, Mogwar, Marshal, that kind of thing, drawing a bunch of cards with Distant Melody, and then eventually killing you with Goblin Bushwhacker. The second deck is Zuberas. So that's a creature type from Champions of Kamigawa. They all kind of have these weird die triggers. I didn't quite play the deck as well as it could last time, and I'm excited to play that deck again. So if you liked that deck, make sure you vote for that deck. And the third deck is Damned Cycling. So that's the deck that cycles through its deck, plays the card Songs of the Damned, which adds a black for each creature in your graveyard, and then you're able to combo through with the card Haunting Misery, which deals them a damage for each creature in your graveyard. So make sure you check that out. Vote for the deck that you most want to see me play again. I think currently, in terms of YouTube, I think the Goblin Storm deck is the most popular. But it's up to you guys. Whichever deck you'd like to see, make sure you vote. You can only vote once, but that's okay. Give us a vote. Again, thanks for watching, guys. If you like this video, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. I'll be back for round number 1. Hopefully, we can take Red-Green Impact Tremors to a winning record. Make sure you check us out online, www.themanabase.com. If you're not familiar with us, we have everything from, Cube to Modern to Commander to myself playing Pauper. If you like Commander and if you love to read just really good articles, make sure you check out Jim LePage's series, The Metaworker. It is very, very good. He posts on Reddit all the time. You've probably seen it there. It is phenomenal stuff. It is some of the most underrated work on the internet right now. If you have not, check it out right now. If you like Commander, if you just like good writing and good storytelling in general, The Metaworker on the Manabase, check it out. I will see you guys for round number 1. Again, I'm Austin. This was Pauper Ponderings. See ya in a little bit.